Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
And I am Ricky. Today we're reviewing Fishing Cats.
Fishing Cats is a game from Heidelberg Games, which is recently being distributed by Czech Games Edition by CGE. And Fishing Cats is a game of trying to collect fish. Well, yes, basically, your cats. You're trying to collect fish, and you have these adorable little cat paws. We will probably talk about these cat paws a lot throughout the game because, let's be honest, they're fun. But Ricky, do you want to tell people how to play the game?
So the way you play is you put out a certain number of cards depending on the player. I don't know.
It's one plus the number of players. So how many players you have, you do one additional card.
Like musical chairs, except opposite.
One less, yes, exactly.
And then when you count to 3, everyone puts their paw on the fish they want. And then they take that fish.
Probably take that fish. How do they not take that fish?
If more than one person puts it on the same... If, let's say, this happens... Then the people who all have their paws on that card don't get a card.
Basically, you want to be the only person who has your paw on the fish. If you do, you're going to go ahead and get the fish. If you are maxed with other players, then you don't. So, for example, in a 4-player game, which is right now what we have set up for, you might have like 3 people on the same fish, which means none of them get any of it, and one person getting one of the other fishes. Now, the reason you're doing that is because you're trying to collect sets of fishes. When the round ends, and we'll talk about how that happens shortly, when the round ends, you're going to get points if you have sets of 3 of the same fish. So, for example, if I have this card and this card, I already have 2 towards a set of 3 of the same fish. Now, the problem is, this particular set is only worth 1 point. That's 1 point over here. This is a 2-point fish over here. And we also have, in here, we have a 3-point fish as well. So there are 1, 2, or 3. There's fish cards that are worth 1, 2, or 3 points for the full set of 3, which means there is some degree of trying to go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get this fish. The problem is everyone's thinking that, which means, unfortunately, if you try to go for the most expensive fish always, you're going to find yourself with nothing, and the person who went for a little bit less might find themselves with a set of fish. Now, you're going to go round and around creating rounds of this, effectively, again, constantly putting out a new round of fish, new hand of fish, whatever it is, and you're going to go around until eventually one player has 2 full sets. So 2 full sets, meaning they at least have 2 sets of 3 fish in their set. When you do that, all the players that round are going to score the sets they have. So that player will score for at least 2 sets, whereas the other players will score for anywhere between 0, 1, and sometimes even 2 sets if 2 people got to 2 sets in the same round. You're going to give people these various little tokens over here, indicating anywhere between 1 to 3 points, depending on, well, how many points they got. And the goal of the game is then you're going to reset to the next round, and you're going to keep doing rounds or running rounds of the game until eventually one player has 6 points. That's basically how you play Fishing Cats.
Yep.
Which means it's time for the review over here because the game. Well, one last thing actually.
Yeah,
Let's talk about.
I took them already.
You took them already? Yeah. Go ahead, show everyone.
There's one more card called that is a Kraken, and the Kraken means if you get it, you get to steal somebody. You get to steal somebody else's card. These won't drag.
Yeah, basically, I think they're more squid than Kraken in this case. We've been playing too many fantasy games, but
No,
these squid,
Kraken.
the Kraken. You sure? You sure?
I mean, they're probably squid.
Let's see. They are the squids. Sorry, they're squids. So these squids over here, there are 4 squids, and they allow you to steal other players' cards, which means you're going to generally target the person who's winning, which gives some degree of a catch mechanic to the game.
Which is why when we play, we hardly ever get Krakens, squid, whatever, because there's one person who always goes for them. So.
Yeah, we have someone in the family who
and
likes
there are numbers on the corner, because what if more than one squid comes out in a round, and the numbers tell you what order to go in? What does it go highest number first or lowest number first?
I believe I'm going lowest to highest. It's possible to the reverse, but it doesn't matter unless you're as long as you're consistent. Anyways,
we've never had to do it.
Anyways, with that, let's go ahead and talk about our thoughts and our opinions, Ricky. What do you think about Fish and Cats? What do you like about the game? Let's start with that.
It's fun.
It is fun.
You have paws.
You do have these. These are
the best.
Yeah, I mean, these are the best. Ricky has 5 of them right now because she decided she wanted to have 5. But these over here, these add a lot of charm to the game. You're basically taking a game which you're trying to grab a card. That's all you're trying to do in the game. But ultimately, the game becomes so much more satisfying because you have a bunch of paws on the table, desperately grasping each other, trying to get the cards. This adds a layer of charm to an already okay game. And it's an okay game. It's not an amazing game, but it's an okay game concept enhanced by great production values in the sense of little cat paws going on in the game.
Yep, one of the first.
Past that, the basic idea of the game is it's chaos. It's chaos, it's craziness. You're going to have people constantly going for the same cards, which happens more often than you think because everyone avoids the 3-point card because everyone's going to, scare the multiple people are going to go for that. But that means someone ends up getting other cards. You end up conflicting on other cards. Once you have sets of cards in front of you, there becomes this weird incentive of, oh, I see you're going for these, so I need to stop you. But also, if I stop you, I'm succeeding at stopping you, but I'm also not getting anything myself. And so that adds a layer of decision making to it as well.
And then there's what happens when both people are being strategic about which fish they pick, and then they both think the same way, so they always take the same fish, and it takes 5 sets of cards, like 5 or more sets of cards to get a single card.
When Ricky says both people, she means me and her. We tend to grab the same fish a lot, even when it's not the obvious one, because we go through that layered thinking aspect. But then past that, there's also the enjoyment of just watching the game unfold in terms of the point collection. As the game goes on, you're going to see players going up in points, which means players start being mindful of, oh, we can't let that player get these cards. And that results in a little bit of a kind of chase, and inevitably, by the time you get to the end of the game, I have found more often than not, even if you go into like a round where somebody has 5 points and then the most behind them is 2, they very often don't win. We've seen people win all over the place in this game as far as where they are.
And what happens very often when people do the chase thing is that they start ignoring the other players, and then they get to win. That's how I won.
Yeah, that
And
does
how
happen.
my brother won.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one.
Yeah, that does happen. It happens a lot. People sneak past as you start focusing on the player who's winning. Now, players
why
who
I
are
focus
winning
on everyone.
can still win. So it's not a pure, like, oh, if you're ahead, you're going to lose. It's just where the focus of the players are in terms of trying to stop people. But the nice thing is the game does ramp forward no matter what, which means it will, no matter what, charge to an end, because every round, eventually, people are going to get points. Anything you don't like about the game?
I don't really like that there's complete freedom in like the squid's case, because I feel like it should be like this thing, like you can't get a squid twice in a row, or you can't steal from the same person twice in a row, or you like you can't go for the squid every time. Like once it comes out a certain number of times, you can't go for it.
Yeah. Now, I will say there are only 4 squids in the deck, so you will see them show up throughout the rounds. They are frequent enough that they're making an appearance. They're not so frequent as they're constantly in play.
Yeah.
Although, speaking of which, for things I don't like about the game, it's not so much that there's things I don't like about the game, so much as the fact that past the adorable little cat paws, the game is very simple and straightforward. It's not doing a lot. I wish there were more things added to the game, more special
Like-
cards, for example.
Or like quests where like if you get 2 sets of the same fish,
That could be fun.
then you get like a bonus point or
Yeah.
something. It also makes me sad that, in my
Objectives
opinion,
could be
the
fun.
best fish in the entire game is only 1 point.
Visually the best fish?
Yes.
That's your favorite fish?
It's so funny.
Interesting.
Which one's your favorite?
My favorite fish is going to be the eel.
I mean, I love the eel too, but yeah.
And the eel's lots of fun. Also because it's not really a fish, it's different than a fish. Anyways, yeah, I wish there was a bit more going on. I think objectives are a great idea, more special cards. It's just because I think the game is fairly fun, but I do think it's a straightforward, well-done concept, elevated by adorable little cat paws.
Yes.
That's why I'm in this one.
I also, does anybody notice that you're going for poisonous fish?
Pufferfish?
Yeah, the poisonous.
It's only poisonous if you don't cook it right. And I know exactly how to cook pufferfish. Anyways,
Sure.
as far as final thoughts on the game, for me, Fish and Cats is an enjoyable experience that is ultimately very much a one-trick pony that relies on chaos, confusion, and a lot of people...
I've heard that saying before. I have no clue what it means.
Which one? One-trick pony?
Yeah.
Oh, one-trick pony is just the idea it's a pony that can only do one trick. Can't do more tricks. It can only do one trick. It does the one trick very well, but it only does one trick. It's very often used, especially when I'm using it in game reviews, I'll very often refer to the idea that it does something well, but it only does one thing well. It's not doing a lot of different competing aspects. It's just one thing well.
Yep.
Like Can't Stop is a one-trick pony. Now the question is
That's
how...
how push your luck.
Well, it's push your luck. It's a one-trick pony, but it's only doing one thing.
One time Rafi got to the top in 1 round.
I heard about this. Anyways,
The
but as
victory
far
is mine.
as far as the game, I do think it's very much a one-trick pony. It's doing one specific thing. It's a little on the lighter side. I wish there was more going on to the game. That said, it does give you the chaos and confusion. It does give you those fun times and just the sheer laughter and just people attacking, not attacking, people running for cards, gathering cards, trying to do everything they can to get as many points as possible. So there is a lot of fun going on in the experience as you play through it. For me, rating-wise, it's a 3.5 out of 5. I enjoy it. I like it. I get a lot of experience for it. I get a lot of fun out of the game, but ultimately it's limited in how much it's doing. For you?
I would say probably the same things, and something I forgot to add is how cute this cat is.
It is adorable. The cat behind the thing is adorable.
And fun thing, the cats that are on the cover have the paws you're using. So like this one, I'm pretty sure is this cat. That's clearly your cat. This one's this cat. So like there's a bunch of different cats on the thing, and you can tell which one's which. And also this one's wearing mitts.
It is. This
one's being healthy.
We should get oven mitts. Anyways, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Ricky.
And have a good one.